jab about how I was eating pizza with pineapple on it, the way it's meant to be, because damn straight. But someone else ate all of the Hawaiian. All the ham and pineapple, gone. What can you do? Hello humans, my name is Dale Kingsmill, and today is take 2 of that Swan Princess video I tried to make a couple weeks back. I did try out a couple of your solutions that you'd left in the comments to try and fix the SD card. Unfortunately, nothing seemed to make a difference. I'm eating my lunch of leftover pizza. Anyone who wants to share a meal with me, have lunch with me, go get some food, sit down, get ready for this video. I feel so Americana right now. I got this Loot Crate baseball jersey, this Ghostbusters baseball jersey from the latest Level Up. If you are interested in getting 10% off Loot Crate or Level Up, you can go to the description below and there's a bunch of deets there. But I put on the jersey and then I got some pizza and then I was like, ooh, we've got some Coke, I'm gonna get some Coke in this Coke glass. I feel so Americana. Anyhow, we're gonna try and keep this short and sweet as it can be. This is a weird, oh, hello. Hello. I forgot that I need to do my TED intro. This is a TED video. TED, in my case, stands for Too Easily Distracted. I almost choked on some pizza just then. And in any of my TED videos, you will get a glimpse into the horrors of my mind. Now, this Swan Princess conspiracy theory is one of very few, if not the only one of my major sort of distractions that I don't have any lists or graphs or tables for. Nothing is color-coded, nothing is particularly written down, but the analysis is deep. For 2 years! Maybe 2.5, maybe more now. I, with the help of my sister and brother, have been piecing together the little pieces of this puzzle to work out what's really going on behind the Swan Princess. So, it all began one day when we were watching the Swan Princess, as you do, and we noticed, my brother and I, while the little guy was singing Princesses on Parade, that there was something pretty strange going on. Specifically, it was the fact that an entire country makes the armor and weapons for Derek's kingdom. An entire country producing all of the weapons and armor for an entire other country. That's weird. It's heavily implied that one of the other princesses comes from a country where all of the crops are grown for Derek's kingdom. This is getting weird. This is getting Hunger Games up in here. District, anyone? Man, pizza. We thought, that's very bizarre. I can't think of any peaceful situation in which that kind of an arrangement would arrive. Through means of analysis and listening through the lyrics of the song again, we came to the conclusion that Derek's father was a conqueror king, a man who had subjugated many, if not all, other countries on this planet. Because note, every single princess on the planet prayed to be invited to the ball. Every country, except perhaps one. Now, if Derek's kingdom, which by the way is called Schomburg, I found this out recently, Schomburg, or Schamburg, what a sham. They want to make a peaceful connection with Odette's kingdom. That was gross, I'm sorry. Why would this all-powerful kingdom that has seemingly got every other kingdom on the planet under its thumb, why would they be bending so much to try to make this connection with William's kingdom? Well, aha! You see, we propose that this is because what William's kingdom has going for it is magic. Think about it, the only magic that we see used in the movie is sourced from William and Odette's kingdom. So it would stand to reason that this almighty, conquering kingdom could only be stood up to by a kingdom which has access to magic. But what do we know from the opening monologue? We know that William is getting old and he don't have no heir. William is perhaps concerned that upon his death, his kingdom will be left struggling to find their new ruler, and in all of this internal chaos, they're not going to be strong enough to defend themselves against Schomburg. Which is why, when Odette is born, he thinks to himself, here's my opportunity to form a peaceful alliance with Schomburg, to get my country some kind of a deal in this, where once I'm gone, they won't all be murdered and subjugated, maybe I can make a peaceful contract with Schomburg and we can merge our kingdoms in a way that won't leave the people suffering. In the meantime, the Conqueror King has died, leaving the widow Uberta as regent until Derek is old enough to become king. There's still a rightful heir to the throne and people aren't too worried about it in Schomburg, but it does mean that Uberta is probably a little more likely to be looking for this stability, this kind of alliance with William's kingdom. So she and Derek make the trip over to William's kingdom to visit the naming ceremony, the baby debutante ball, the baby coronation. The only time that Uberta and Derek visit William and not the other way around in the entire film, I might add, which is like significant but not significant enough for me to spend time going into it right now. There's so much to talk about. Now, Rothbart, we propose, was William's top general during the war. How do we know that William and Rothbart had a close personal connection? Because when Rothbart is being banished, by the way, there were calls for his death. This was an act of mercy, and not just an act of mercy from a kind king, but definitely from a close friend, because William himself personally goes out to see Rothbart off. And P.S. Rothbart calls him Willie a bunch of times. Just saying. He is a great magic user and he is a patriot who wants his country to win this fight. He doesn't want to make some deal with snooty Schomburg. And through Rothbart, he concocts a plan. Major rulers and dignitaries, including the regent widow Uberta and the heir to the Schomburgian throne, Derek, monarchs and dignitaries, they've all come to William's kingdom to see the newborn baby. Now they've come in peace, but Rothbart, he sees an opportunity. We see him working in his lab on the great animal spell. Now this stumped us a little until recently, when I realized that with all of these up-and-ups, that's not a word, with all of these important people in the one room, he'd be able to take out Uberta and Derek in one fell swoop, maybe some other enemy leaders along the way, while they were here, while they were right within his grasp. He could kill them, leave their country without any certain rulers, and throw their country into chaos, taking that opportunity to win the war once and for all. But he couldn't just assassinate them as himself entirely. People were always going to suspect him to a degree, but if he transformed himself into something that looked entirely different, say a great animal, a gigantic wolf bat of badassery, then he'd at least have plausible deniability that this huge creature had bust in and killed them. But William saw this coming and he much preferred the option of peace between their nations. So he had his guards bust in before the attack could go down and strip Rothbart of all his magic. Eat the pizza, eat the pizza. Uh-oh. Now, cut to Derek and Odette, who have been set up to one day get married so that their kingdoms can peacefully join forces. Odette is clearly more invested in trying to make this work. She has been trained to try and make this work way more than Derek has. You watch through the "this isn't my idea" sequence, and she's always making an effort to hang out with them, even though she doesn't like it. Blah blah, skip to the end. At the last second, Odette can't bring herself to go through with it. She turns Derek down flat, and she and William and their enclave leave. William seems genuinely heartbroken by this, and he says, "We tried, Uberta. No one can say we didn't try." Which could read him and Uberta, or it could, in this context, much more deeply read as, "I and my country tried to appease you. Please don't take it out on us in force." They've been dropping back on their militant magic this whole time, trying to make sure that they didn't tick off Schomburg in any way. Now Rothbart, who has earned his powers back somehow, methinks he has been waiting, has been biding his time to make his initial attack something massive that would make a huge impact. Probably waiting for the wedding of Derek and Odette, thinking that that was going to go down because that was the plan since his banishment. But now the princess has turned Derek down and he sees an opportunity to get back in. He kills William and he kidnaps Odette. Now from William's kingdom's point of view, their beloved princess has just turned down the brat douchebag child of Schomburg, and suddenly their king and crowned princess go missing or are dead. Even if Schomburg claims that it was some great animal, the people of William's kingdom aren't gonna buy that. Their age-old enemies, from their point of view, have taken out their rulers, and they're mad. So the only thing that Schomburg can do at this point to stop all-out war from breaking loose is to continue saying that Derek's looking for her. He's looking for Odette. It's fine. He's looking. Which we see he is clearly not doing. He's running around playing flippin' Middle Ages paintball with the castle's musicians instead of actually looking. Now Rothbart, once he has swanned Odette, seems genuinely interested in making sure that she's okay. He genuinely seems like he doesn't want her to cry. This is because he has some unsteady idea that maybe if he can bring Odette back to her own kingdom again, safe from the unsavory clutches of Schomburgian scum, that perhaps he can marry her and they can get back in and he can win this war. Not a great plan, but it's all he has in the hopes of actually getting accepted back into his country once again. But Odette, she refuses. She doesn't know anything about Rothbart. She was only a baby when he was banished. So suddenly she's thinking, this crazy guy's kidnapped me, turned me into a swan and murdered my dad. Derek isn't looking too bad right now. But she brings Derek back into it, and suddenly Rothbart's plans change once again. Rothbart thinks to himself that maybe if he could kill Derek, if he could find a way to draw Derek out and kill him, he could return to his kingdom as a hero. At the same time, it would leave Schomburg unstable with only a queen regent, with no heir to take over after her. Suddenly Schomburg would lose its faith in its current ruler. Suddenly it would look for someone else to take over. But who? There's so many people. And the infighting and the scrambling begins and it starts to crumble from within, just as William feared would happen to his own kingdom. Sure, this version of the plan comes at the cost of Odette, but if Rothbart came back to William's kingdom and said, the Schomburgians did kill our king, they did kill our princess, and I got retribution, and now I will lead you into victory against them, and they would suddenly remember this grand war general, they would look to him as a hero of vengeance, and they would follow him. Plus he's all powerful again, he's got all his magic back. Plus with Odette refusing to marry him for real, he's got no real other choice. Sure, he can make his assistant look like Odette, but that might cut it in Schomburg where they have no idea how magic works. But if he brings an illusion like that into a magical kingdom, they are gonna see through that in 10 minutes max. No, this is his way back in. And so he goes and he taunts Derek and he draws him out into the open and he transforms into the great animal to finally get that kill. But we all see how that went down. He's defeated. Odette ends up marrying the douchebag. And dystopia reigns. So anyway, that is a very cropped version of mine and my brother and my sister's conspiracy theory regarding the Swan Princess. There really is so much that we've just kind of pieced together over the last couple of years and we've just added to it over time, so it's one of those things where I've got so much that I want to talk about, but I just, it would be such a long video. Plus I've got no graphs or tables or color-coded lists to help me. But if you have questions, we might just have answers. I hope that you enjoyed that. If you did, then consider hitting the like button beneath the video. It really helps out a video a bunch if you interact with those kinds of things, so hitting the thumbs up button, leaving a comment, those sort of things. All that good stuff. You can also share this video on your favorite social media website. I myself have accounts on many of these social media websites, so if you would be interested in following me there, you can do so. Strike up a chat. Or, as always, I love it when people share these videos with someone they know in this analog reality of ours. If you have like a cousin or a co-worker or a friend who you think is interested in this sort of stuff, then just, you know, shoot the video their way. If you're not already, then you can subscribe to this channel for more content on the regular. I do a lot of storytelling videos where I retell myths or I retell fairy tales in my own specific way. Apart from that, I do believe that's it. I'm done. Email this to your grandma and I will see you some other time. Be in ads.